from the James Norwick Field at Brooklyn Center High School. Tonight it's homecoming for the Centaurs as they take on St. Paul Humboldt in a Twin City Blue sub-district football game. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Bill Hunstock. And Bill, overall a pretty promising season for Brooklyn Center, coming in at 4-2, which is better than they've been in a few years.
Right.
They did have a tough loss last week against a very, very good Minneapolis North team, but the new coach, John Licciardi, said, you know, we wiped the slate clean on that one. We didn't even watch film. By Monday, these guys were back and focused, ready to go for homecoming.
Yeah, and they, like you said, it's a homecoming week, so they were ready to go on Monday. And Coach said they had some good practices this week, and they're really trying to bring some things together here at BC that they haven't had in a while. A little bit of consistency, which is hard to do in 1 year, granted, but still to be able to build a program requires more than just running football plays and having guys out there. It's getting guys to play, getting guys to understand what you're trying to accomplish, and that the bigger goals are with the program, not just on Friday evenings. But it's homecoming, and homecoming always brings out the best in the team that wants to play the hardest.
A new head coach, John Licciardi, played for the Centaurs back in the late 90s. He's been an assistant with Kennedy and also at Osseo in recent years. So he's bringing back the Centaur pride here, and obviously something that's changed maybe from when he played or even before that. You have to be trying to get kids out, and he said that's one thing I can do pretty well. I'm a salesman a little bit, and he's been able to get the numbers up a little bit, which is a good first starting point too. Exactly.
I mean, you really have to, in football, it's always a numbers game. You got to get enough guys out that can handle all the different kinds of things that go on in practice and games and everything like that. And that involves getting around, walking through school, going to other teams and saying, hey, we got another team here, you want to be part of it. And that's what John does a real good job with, and he's gotten more kids out, which is a plus, and that's the way to go.
And for St. Paul Humboldt, they're kind of trying to restart things a little bit after not playing a regular varsity schedule. Right. They do have one win this year. They've had a little bit of injuries. The numbers are a little bit thin, but they've also seen some promising players. They have, at least one guy who's getting some D1 looks, and that's not a bad place to start.
No, they're a little bit behind where Brooklyn Center is in terms of the growth of their program. They were shut down for a year, played a JV schedule, which really was a starting point for them. But the biggest problem they have is getting the numbers up, getting kids out to play the game, being excited about it, getting some consistency, and getting some commitment to the program. That's the hardest thing. And the head coach is not part of the faculty at the school, so he's got to do everything on his own time. He doesn't have a lot of school time to do those things to get kids involved with the program. That being said, they have played fairly well this year. They've got 5 losses and 1 win. But they've been consistent. They've played competitive football. They've got 2 or 3 pretty good athletes. They've got a receiver that can catch the ball. All you got to do is find somebody that can throw it to him so he can catch it. And he does everything. He kicks and punts and plays defense, and that's where they're going to be looking to build around him.
All right, Centaurs trying to get back into the win column here tonight on their homecoming game. They think they have a chance to do some damage in the playoffs as well, and they're hoping to close the regular season strong. Humboldt looking to pull an upset here on the road. We'll have our kickoff in just a moment. It's St. Paul Humboldt at Brooklyn Center football on CCX Sports.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood? Or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
Centaurs hitting the field here with the BC flag in tow here as they get set for tonight's battle. And Bill, for this point in the season, you can't ask for much better weather for tonight's contest either.
Yeah, this is great. It's nearly 60 degrees, no wind, no rain. It's a wonderful evening. It's a great night for high school football.
Once again, joining us from the sideline tonight will be Allie Arlt. Let's go down to Allie.
Hey Jay, you touched on it in the open. This Brooklyn Center team has had a decent season so far, with the exception of that 54-0 loss to Minneapolis North just last week. And Coach Liccardi told me, he said, you know, our guys were just psyched out for that one. They know the powerhouse program that North has. And he says what's special about his team, though, is their ability to bounce back. And you know what? Tonight, they're in the atmosphere that they absolutely love. Coach Liccardi says his team plays at their best when they are comfortable and having fun. And hey, tonight is homecoming, so they're in the zone just for that. Liccardi also told me he remembers playing in this very homecoming game back when he used to play here, so he wants to make this one a memorable one for his team tonight as well. And just before I send it back up to you, Jay, number 50, Matthew Yang for Brooklyn Center, he's their linebacker who got hurt during pregame warm-ups, so a little ankle injury that the trainers were tending to, but we'll keep an eye on him to see what his status is throughout the game.
Thanks very much, Allie, and hopefully Mr. Yang will be able to bounce back and get out there. The Humboldt Hawks will be kicking off to start tonight's game. Desmond Lugo getting set to boot it away. And back deep for the Centaurs will be Charles Wiley in the middle, and Junior Kai and Rayshawn Douglas flanking him. Centaurs have some big play capabilities, and that's one of the things that Coach Flores from Humboldt talked about, is we have to make sure that we don't let them really, break loose and get some long touchdowns. They go onside kick to start it out. However, it did not go far enough. And Brooklyn Center looks like they ended up pouncing on it anyway. So the Centaurs, Sam Fain recovering. However, the ball did not go far enough, so the Hawks were, I guess, smart to not, go after it right away, but didn't work out the way they had planned. So they are in great field position at the Humboldt 48. Not bad.
That was a good effort to start the game with a surprise play. Ball just didn't travel enough, and that's the downside right there, is that you give up good field position.
Davia Gabor, the Centaurs quarterback, he's hobbled a little bit right now, working with an ankle situation. Play action on first down. They're looking big on the first play. Way underthrown, though, and intercepted for the Hawks by Darnell King, their talented overall player, and he will pick it off and return it into Centaur territory, as Gabor trying to go deep, but really underthrew that one, and a quick turnover will give the ball to Humboldt.
Here we'll see that the ball is way up in the air, and boy, it just dies out there. And Darnell King really playing the ball, and not the man gets to it first. Gets a nice run back, puts the ball on the 48-yard line, so the ball moves 4 yards and changes possessions, with Darnell King making a great interception there.
First down play is a handoff up the middle to King. Humboldt, a team that looks to run the ball quite a bit. King is a guy that, as a junior, getting some D1 looks there, Coach said. He said, he'll be their best runner, their best pass receiver, and they've got a young and smallish quarterback in there, Nicholas Lara, at about 5'10", 130. So primarily a running team. They did have an injury to one of their top backs, Darren Riley, so that will hamper them maybe a little bit here. Tight formation, Centaurs jumping offside. It appears as though it will be a defensive penalty, and it will be against Brooklyn Center.
That was a nice hard count that the quarterback went on, drew the offside, get a free 5 yards, put you in second and short, which is a nice play. That's a good football down right there. Second and short, you can throw the ball, you can run it. You got just about your entire playbook open to you.
And Coach Flores talked about wanting to get off to a good start here because it's homecoming at BC and everything. Here's the handoff. Oh my! King was slipping down, and he paid the price. As coming up to meet him for BC was Wesley Hawley. Let's see this one again.
You can see that he cuts on his left foot. He just slips and goes down. A little help from Holly there. And now you got third. I'm going to assume that Humboldt's going to be playing this as a 4-down territory.
Yeah, you'd sure think so, especially, you know, considering field position and the type of offense they've got. Real tight sets.
Right.
Double tight ends at most times. Lara faking again, and now will throw it out into the flat. And that catch is made. Going up in traffic there for the Hawks is Davis. No good.
Yeah, he made the catch, but he was out of bounds. So now we're 4th and 4. That was really pretty well done. A little more zip on that ball, and that's an easy first down.
I thought from up here the signal was that he was marking the ball.
Yeah, it was an unclear signal by the head linesman on the far side.
They do indeed go for it here on 4th down. Lara, long count. Going to hand it off to King. Gets by the first wave and keeps going, and will get the first down. Boy, it certainly looked like they had him stop, but he got a second little surge down to the 35 or 36-yard line, so give him a first down. And we see right there why they had plenty of praise for him and his abilities right there.
Exactly, and shows no quit. Good leg drive. Get a couple of yards after contact.
So first down play for Humboldt. Go with the little toss to the bigger back here, Lugo. And nice job coming up to meet him was Brandon Johnson for Brooklyn Center. He'll stop him for a very short gain, about a yard on the play. Lugo looked kind of like a semi-truck coming at him there, didn't he? Yep. 5'11", 220, and wisely so. Johnson saying, I'm not going to go after this big guy up top.
He took his legs right out from under him, which is a smart thing to do, and limits that to it. It looked like he was going to get the flank, and Johnson did a nice job of filling in behind the blocker and taking Lugo down for a 1-yard gain, so we're at 2nd and 9.
Humboldt trying to capitalize on the early interception. Toss out here and some good room to the right. Struggling forward with it is King. Not going to get enough for the first down, but it is a nice gainer.
Yep. Yeah, so that was a nice 7-yard gain for King. He's going to be a tired guy by the end of the game, because my guess is he's going to have the ball in his hands more than anybody else.
So look at the starting group for Humboldt. Yeah, and especially without Riley, who had been having a good year. Right. Their coaches were telling us as a running back too. So 3rd down and a long yard. However, we get a flag, and it's going to be offside against Brooklyn Center. So that'll give them a first down. I'm not so sure it wasn't a lining up offside kind of thing there.
Yeah, look, it must have been, because they blew the play dead. So it's encroachment and lining up into the neutral zone.
So this is exactly what Humboldt wanted. They get, the early turnover, but then they also get a nice drive going. I mean, obviously they want to finish it, but they were hoping to, kind of take the enthusiasm out of Brooklyn Center on homecoming night a little bit here too. They were cognizant of the fact that, this would be a game the Centaurs might be extra fired up for, and they wanted to kind of take control of it on their offensive unit here. They go up the middle, and not a whole lot of room there. Wasn't much of a gap. They'll push forward for a short gainer as King handling it again.
Yeah, now one of the things that a possession like this does, getting that turnover on the very first play, a huge emotional swing, and then to get a first down or two is always an important thing. But most, an important part of this is they're using up a lot of clock. The Centaurs' good offensive people are not able to do anything when the defense is on the field.
Lara rolling out to his left, now stepping up, in trouble, and wrapped up and sacked. He's finally brought down from behind for the Centaurs as Clarence Douglas got to him. There is a flag. This might have been, was this a face mask, or it kind of looked like
face mask or a roughing or something maybe.
unsportsmanlike conduct. It'll be after the tackle there against Brooklyn Center. So they had the sack, but
it'll go 15 from the point of the foul as Lugo just can't get away from it.
And coming right in, and it was verbal. Dave Wiley was called for taunting, I guess, basically. It looked like after that sack.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot physical, but the referee made a comment over to the coaches on the sideline that, what the impetus behind the flag was, and nobody said anything.
From the 15, give is to King, right side, and he is wrapped up after a short pickup there.
One of the hardest things in looking at Humboldt's offense, it's really hard to see what's going on. They've got very tight splits. They're playing double tight ends most of the time, so they're very packed in there. And Brooklyn Center is playing 8-9 guys in the box. It's very, very hard to run the football against 9 guys in the box.
4th down play. That penalty was not enough to give them a first down, so they got 4th and about 2. Lara, quick flip, and it is complete. He'll be stopped short of the end zone, but they get the first down as he's able to dump it down there to mystery man number 44. No, it was 44 on the catch there, and we have no 44, so first down and goal to go.
Smith. But it's a completed pass. That was a really nicely executed pass. Is that the first? That's the second pass they've thrown today.
Toss out to King, and this was a strange one, and nobody seemed ready, and King will trot into the end zone.
He didn't even have to get up to speed to get into the end zone. So that's a very weird play. Nobody moved at the snap of the ball except for King and the ball. Well, this is the way, as you said, Jay, this is the way Humboldt wanted to start the game. They wanted to get out quick, and they wanted to get on the board first. So they've met that criteria now.
At 44, John Matakowicz Stately is the player who caught that previous pass here. So they'll go for 2, which is something they generally do. The little quick flip is incomplete, trying to find Khalil Moss there. So they get the touchdown, not good on the conversion, and Humboldt will take the lead.
Here we take a look at the toss to King, and
a very strange looking play. It was like nobody was ready.
Yeah, and they got 2 guys out in front of him in good order. So yeah, that's a very strange looking play, particularly by the defense. I was surprised that they did not react quicker. Let me see, Coach Flores.
And like Brooklyn Center's coach John Licciardi, both of them are graduates of the schools that they're coaching now too. So that's a nice thing. You know, it means a little bit extra to them, I think, for this. So, boy, a lot of what they wanted to see happen early. You get a key interception right away on the first play for Brooklyn Center, and then you get a drive. And I think in a lot of ways for them, that was a more preferable drive than if they had broken one long big play. They kept the ball. They ate some clock. They worked. It wasn't always pretty. There's John Licciardi, the Centaurs head coach, and was a member of a conference championship team in the late 90s as a player, and worked with a guy that we know well, Darren Lampker, when he was over at Osseo too as an assistant. And he said, it's just kind of a position over here that I sort of always, maybe thought about coming back at some point, and the timing was just right this time for it to happen.
And I think he'll bring some energy to the program, which I think it really needs.
Lugo will kick off here for Humboldt. When onside kick the first time, they're going to do it again. And Brooklyn Center will get it as Humboldt had to wait Emilio Urbina was right there, but he wanted to make sure it went 10 yards, and then by the time he finally pounced, it was a little too late. So interesting, Humboldt going onside kick 2 times in a row. You see right here, 22, he would have had a chance to get that, but he realized it wasn't 10 yards yet. And then it was coming at his feet, and he couldn't get to it.
Exactly, and if he stays, he's the widest guy on the field there. If he stays right up on the sideline, instead of squeezing in even just 2 or 3 yards, if he stays on the sideline, he's got a chance at making that play. Squeezing in like he did towards the numbers, the ball was still bouncing, and like you said, once that thing gets bouncing around your feet, it's hard to stoop down and do anything with it.
Timeout taken by Humboldt. So kind of interesting to see if, you know, if it was maybe something they came into tonight expecting to do, maybe based on something they'd seen on film from Brooklyn Center, whatever. Sometimes you see a team and the you know, the guys up front will turn and bail early to get back in blocking position, and maybe think you can, you know, make that work to your advantage. It didn't work out either time so far for Humboldt, though. So Brooklyn Center with the ball for the second time at the 48-yard line both times. It didn't work out too well. The first play from scrimmage as Gabor badly underthrew his receiver and was intercepted. Handoff going to Charles Wiley on the sweep, and he's an athlete. Wiley getting to the outside, and he will pick up good yardage and enough for a first down inside the Humboldt 40.
I think we'll see a fair amount of that type of running play, getting Wiley out onto the flank and letting him run. The defense for Humboldt's going to have to really support the flank to keep that from being an all-day affair.
Gabor is going to turn and hand off to Brandon Johnson. Johnson picking his way through there, breaking another tackle, makes a move here, and then he's all wrapped up, but he's all the way down near the 20, and that'll be another first down as he gains about 17 more. Wow, Brooklyn Center is interesting. Coach Licciardi said, you know, what we really want to get going tonight is our pass game, but it looks like in these first 2 runs that they're going to be able to open some holes. They're bigger up front, no doubt, than Humboldt.
There's a nice trap there, and arm tackling isn't going to bring Johnson down. He's a little too solid to bring down with an arm tackle.
And one of those Humboldt tacklers trying to pick up the number of the truck that hit him there.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's back to Wiley on the sweep to the left. Wiley down the sideline, cuts it back and is dragged down, but will have perhaps a first down. It's a flag late. Going to be a holding, though, it looks like, against Brooklyn Center, way downfield, right near where the ball ended up.
Exactly. So the 10-yard penalty may still make it 1st and 7 or 8.
So it looks like Johnson was the guilty party for Brooklyn Center, way downfield near the point where Wiley was tackled. See if we can pick it up. Watch for 6, Johnson. He was leading this play. Wiley bouncing it out, and then no, it wasn't actually 6. It was 13 Douglas. I think they told the bench 6, but he was near there. But so it's still going to be first down, 1st and about 6. As Bill said, that play, the holding happened way downfield, so it doesn't, you know, hurt Brooklyn Center quite as much. It's going to be a false start call against BC, and the penalties have already started to pile up on Brooklyn Center as they've committed 5, and those are the type of the things that, you know, that bug coaches.
Yeah, you know, concentration penalties are among the worst as far as a coach is concerned.
So 1st and 11 now for Brooklyn Center. Trying to match the score by Humboldt. Gabor throwing over the middle, and Wiley was open, but he didn't put enough air under that one and just overshot him by a bit. He was very open on that play, and I expect that they're going to, you know, look to him quite a bit tonight, and also Junior Kai and a couple of the other receivers. And you see that the ability to get open is there. You just got to put it on him.
Exactly, and that's just the timing and of the play, and you know, seeing where things are going and throwing to the spot of the field where the guy can get to it and catch it.
You have to wonder if that ankle is going to impact Gabor a little bit in his throwing ability tonight. Handoff goes to Johnson. Ooh. This time wrapped up and dropped. Boy, getting him high-low there. Ryan Prish up high and Matt Benke down low for Humboldt. And the Centaurs will lose about 4, maybe 5 yards on that play.
You see, pretty well played by the Hawks there. It's always nice when you knock somebody down hard to help them get back up.
So 3rd and long here for Brooklyn Center as they are pushed back to their 25. It was a very promising start to the drive. Thrown out in the flat to Kai. Kai trying to step through the tacklers. He almost made it between them, but Makevich Stately able to wrap him up.
And Desmond Lugo almost got a hand on that one. That would have been very uncomfortable if that would have been an interception.
As it was, they gained about 6 on the play. So 4th and 9 coming up here for Brooklyn Center. They're going to go for it, of course, and Gabor looking deep, wide open, Junior Kai for the touchdown. Brooklyn Center converting on 4th and long and able to score it from the 19. And now the game is tied up and they'll go for a conversion to try and take the lead.
Well, that time the safety got caught up, didn't get deep, and left Kai wide open in the middle of the field.
So extra point attempt coming up here from Simeon Dawson for Brooklyn Center. It's a low liner, but he got it through. And so with 3:01 to go in this first quarter, Brooklyn Center will take a 7-6 lead as they are able to finish the drive here. Gabor dropping to throw, floating this one up. Junior Kai was wide open. Asked Coach Flores a little bit about the secondary, and he said, you know, overall we'd been okay back there, but Edison kind of exposed some things against us a little bit. And boy, you're seeing Brooklyn Center tonight. That's at least the 3rd time where they've had one or more really wide open receivers, and I got to believe their coaches up top are probably relaying that down too. That, you know, we gotta stick with some of these, even though they had a couple that didn't connect.
Yeah, that, and you know, they looked a little weak in their passing early on there, but you know, Humboldt's got to figure out that, you know, in a long yardage situation or a passing situation, somebody's got to take the deep middle. You cannot leave that piece of the field open.
So Dawson will kick it away here for Brooklyn Center. We'll see, maybe are they going to say, you know, if you guys can onside kick, maybe we'll look at it too.
See if we can get it.
He does kick it on the ground and fielded at the 35 by a lineman-looking sort, James Mercado, on the return. He gets about 10 yards out of it, and first and foremost, he caught it and hung on to it.
That's the most important part.
Yep.
Yeah, when those guys with 50, 60, and 70 numbers have the ball in their hand, most coaches are cringing anyway. And but Mercado did a nice job. He got the ball upfield. He did the right thing with it, and they've got real good football position, good field position. Excuse me, at the 46-yard line.
Humboldt put together a nice drive last time. It was little bits at a time. They were helped by a couple penalties. And they ended up, you know, converting after intercepting a pass. So they, you know, it was overall a nice drive. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't always pretty, but they were able to move the ball down the field. Lara directing traffic here, the sophomore quarterback for the Hawks. And this will be a lateral back to King, and he's looking to throw it the other way. Takes a hit. It's hung up for grabs and intercepted. Wiley grabbing it at about the 35-yard line, trying to fight off a tackler there, and he's finally dragged down at about the 45. A helmet comes off, a flag down on the play.
There was a block in the back or an illegal hit of some variety on one of the Humboldt players.
I believe the interception will stand, though.
Yes, I think the penalty occurred after the interception on the run back.
Personal foul, a 15-yarder. Brooklyn Center seemed to be ready for this one as King. It was clearly a lateral. He gets hit as he throws, and that forced it to hang up in the air. Wiley, the easy pickoff, and then there's a clean block there, but then there's
the hand to the face. That's what popped the helmet off of 56.
Well, I got to be honest though. If the helmet doesn't come off, is that penalty called? Probably not.
Maybe
I don't
not.
think so.
No.
But in any case, it is a turnover, an interception for the Centaurs. As Wiley and crew, now we're going to have a timeout taken before the offensive snap taken here. This will be Humboldt taking this timeout, it looks like. So Brooklyn Center getting the football right back. They'll have it at their 34-yard line.
So both teams have had a turnover now on passes that were floated out into the secondary.
I think you can cut Darnell King a little slack, though, because he was really getting hit right as he threw that ball. He didn't have a chance to step into it at all. Brooklyn Center stayed at home. Wiley, the receiver didn't appear to be like he was going to be open anyway there.
No.
They were not fooled by that lateral out to the flat.
No, that was basically a one-man route, so one-man pattern. So, when that happens, as a coach, you'd probably tell Darnell King, instead of throwing the interception, run the ball down there and hand it to him. Because he had a lot of field. If he avoids the hit by not throwing the ball, he's got a lot of field to run in.
And that's the type of play, too, that you can come back to and still, like you say, it doesn't mean you have to throw it there. And
right.
That's a good opportunity to get King a little room out in the flat.
Exactly.
Similar type play, but we'll see if they come back to that later. So Brooklyn Center getting the football back here at their 34-yard line. They went right down the field, ended up scoring on a 4th down play last time. Gabor. Flag is down. There's lots of time, but it looks like it could be a hold, and then he throws it away over Wiley's head. Yeah. Flag coming right in the middle of the line of scrimmage area there as BC has just really hurt themselves with penalties tonight, and this will be another one.
Hold.
7th penalty already against Brooklyn Center. Happened relatively quickly in this play, and it wasn't like there was a free rusher coming at the quarterback or anything. I mean, probably more of a technique thing, it looked like.
It's really hard with high school guys. You really have to work hard to keep your hands and wrists and elbows together to make the block so you don't get called for holding.
So 1st and 20 now for the Centaurs. Gabor firing out in the flat. Douglas has it. He breaks the first tackle. That's a nice gainer after a penalty to get that right. Kind of a gainer. They get not quite enough to get all the way back to the original line of scrimmage, but close. You got about 8 or so.
Yeah, and that's what you look for. You look to get 7 or 8 yards, and that ball's completed right at or right behind the line of scrimmage. And the defensive guy's got to make a tackle there. I mean, that's he had the open one-on-one, made a good hit, just didn't get wrapped up and finish the tackle.
So 2nd and 12 now for Gabor and the Centaurs unit. Good time to throw over the middle. Oh my, he had Kai all alone, but unable to put the ball on him there. So bring up 3rd and long. Hawks really got spread out there.
Yeah,
there's room up the middle.
I think if I was BC guys, I'd be thrown to that middle center zone there. With the two safeties going all the way out to the you know, there's nobody in the middle third. That's I'm a little bit confused. I mean, there's.
Gabor throwing for Wiley. It's tipped in the air and incomplete. We do have a flag down on the play. This might have been an early hit. Now we have a flag at the end. Flags everywhere as they're just about to get into a little scuffle there. There was an initial penalty that I think might be a pass interference.
Right.
And then away from that, in the middle of the field, a couple of guys were about ready to throw down there.
Yeah, probably going to be offsetting unsportsmanlike on that second one, but I think definitely we've got a pass interference here on the first one.
So this is a little more than a usual discussion needed here, because you obviously got the one. Pretty much every official out there threw a flag by the end, because there was about to be guys trading hands a little bit there.
Well, you know, and if it's not an offsetting pass interference against Humboldt, then the last one is going to be a dead ball foul. Okay, personal foul.
Oh, they're both on Humboldt.
Okay.
So the rough stuff was also
one-sided.
On Humboldt.
Yeah, that's pretty close on pass interference there, but it gets called, and we don't get to see it because it's way on the other side of the field. And after the play, and that's a severe loss of focus and discipline on the part of the Humboldt player to do that. You cannot put your team into a situation where you get 30 yards in penalties on one play. That's just not going to happen.
So first down for the Centaurs, down to the 36 or so of Humboldt. Gabor trying to hand it off, just got it to Johnson, and some room up the middle. Johnson still on his feet, and then as he made a spin move, he stumbled over Devontae Davis there, who ends up bringing him down really kind of by accident, just being on the ground there. Be about a 13-yard pickup and a first down for BC.
And there's the second or third time that Lugo has gotten in to disrupt the play in the backfield and just not made the tackle.
There was definitely not smooth handoff either. No. It took a while for the ball to get to Johnson, but then able to break some tackles and make his way upfield. So a first down at the 24 of Humboldt. Gabor looking out to his left. Now fires over the middle. It's complete for the touchdown. Wiley hauls it in and takes it in for 6.
Well, I see here again, the Centaurs do a good job of spreading the field and sending a receiver, this time Wiley, right up the middle of the field, and with no safety and no middle linebacker to take that, it's a sweet give me right there.
And a snap getting away there, and that left Isaiah Spivey in a tough spot there for BC, and he pays the price. So the extra point, no good. 13-6, Brooklyn Center, as we'll get another look at this touchdown pass here.
And you see Wiley just cruises from his slot position right up into the middle of the field. And with nobody there, it's an easy pitch and catch.
So Brooklyn Center, they haven't been, far from perfect in the passing game. They missed some open ones, but boy, they're getting open, and then they've gotten 2 touchdown passes. You get the feeling that if everything clicks, they're going to be, pretty tough for Humboldt to stop unless they get things short up. They're just getting out of position in the secondary as much as anything.
Exactly. Yeah, they've got, with the spread that formation that BC is using, they're getting all their D-backs outside the hash marks, and there's nobody in the middle of the field.
Dawson getting set to kick it off here for Brooklyn Center as they have surged into the lead after having an early interception against them, and then Humboldt driving down to score. Brooklyn Center has shown some of that big play potential. A couple of touchdown passes, Gabor to Kai and Gabor to Wiley. They also had a couple of nice running plays. It looks as though, I mean, if the trend toward the end of the quarter, like Humboldt's going to have a little bit of a hard time stopping BC. He's going to chip this kick short. Lugo will field it. Nobody to block for him, and 4 or 5 guys in purple. Brandon Johnson was the first one and got some help as well. And Lugo a little bit slow to get up. It looked like he was kind of
bump there. Yeah,
he was in a tough spot, and he's going to hobble toward the sideline. Got his, I think his foot, kind of trapped in a bad spot as he was wrapped up by about 4 guys. So kind of gut check time here for Humboldt, I think, as they have fallen behind now on the road, and important for them to take care of the football and try and get a little bit of a drive going here at least.
Exactly. Yeah, they've just got to settle down. I mean, the biggest problem that they've had with their defense is just not covering the zone that's being thrown to. Offensively, if they move the ball, they'll do all right.
And we had a lineman lift up out of his stance there for Humboldt, so they will be penalized. They had gone penalty free until that one play when they had 2 with the interference and then personal foul. It almost looked like the official was going to give him a chance to reset. The flag came out fairly late. Everybody in Brooklyn Center was pointing at him.
And that's once you're set, you've got to hold still.
So 1st and 15 from the 35. We're under a minute to play in this first quarter. 13-6. Brooklyn Center leading on their homecoming night. Lara will toss it back to King, and he is grabbed by the jersey, got away, but it's not going to help as Johnson coming in to help finish him off along with Hawley.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn Center is going to figure out pretty quickly here that the Humboldt offense is pretty much a one-trick pony, and they're going to be all over King every time. They're going to have 1 or 2 people marking him every time, and that's going to take away his effectiveness. He's obviously a pretty good athlete, pretty good football player, but you're not going to be beating 2 and 3 and 4 people on every play.
2nd down and 20 for Humboldt. Timing, this will be interesting. They're going to have to hurry to get this off. It looks like they will need to snap it once more, and they do. And the handoff there goes for much of nothing. And we have reached the end of the first quarter here as Brooklyn Center High School, James Norwick Field, our score after 1. Centaurs 13 and Hawks 6. We'll be back with more football here on CCX Sports.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Centaurs coming back onto the field as we get set to begin quarter number 2, along with Bill Hunstock and Allie Arlt. I'm Jay Wilcox as homecoming in 2017 here for Brooklyn Center. A little bit of a shaky start for them, but they have now surged into the lead at 13-6 over Humboldt. The Hawks have the football, but it's going to be 3rd down and 20 after they had the penalty and the loss on a play, and then that last play for King was no gain, so they've got a ways to go, and it doesn't look like they're really going to have a real easy time protecting for Lara for any kind of long passing plays that take some time to develop. So
yeah, they did real well with the quick passes that they've thrown, but they really don't have much in with everybody packed in like they are, it's a little bit tough to throw the football. Now they're spread out a little bit.
King is going to be the quarterback this time. Lugo is back in there and next to him. So King faking the handoff. King throwing it downfield, underthrown, and almost caught by Davis. The receiver kind of has the advantage because they can see the ball, and he came back to meet it, and Davis almost hauled it in.
Yeah, that would have been a big play, and easily enough for the first down. As we see here that King takes the snap. It's a pretty good pass downfield.
And Davis had a pretty good chance to haul that one in. But wasn't quite able to squeeze it. So, and now King will be the punter. Wiley waiting back deep here for Brooklyn Center. King, a high, short punt. It's going to spin and go out of bounds at about the 43-yard line of Brooklyn Center, so no return there. But, again, good field position for BC as they take over here. John Licciardi happy with what he's saw on that defensive sequence, I'm sure, for his team.
Yeah, they took advantage of the penalty, got a couple of negative yard plays on second and third down and forced the punt, get the ball in good field position.
So Centaurs go back to work offensively. Gabor looking to float it out in the flat to Johnson, and it is incomplete. It wasn't quite a screen, but a similar feel to it.
They were trying to set up a screen because the lineman blocked for a moment and then let the guys through and tried to get out to the right a little bit, but ball was incomplete. Johnson wasn't able to put a handle on it.
So a second down and 10 now for the Centaurs. They'll send three receivers out to the right and one on the near side here with Johnson behind Gabor. High snap, but he gets it to Johnson. Johnson wrapped up. We have a flag down on the play. Tackle made by Ryan Prish for Humboldt. And Bill indicating next to me in the booth here, it looks like it could be another hold against the Centaurs. Oh, block in the back, they're calling it. Okay.
Block in the back by the Centaurs.
Watch Gabor having to reach for that one and then gives it to Johnson, and there he did lose it. Yeah, and he gets back on it. So that the penalty isn't no fun for BC, but losing the ball there would have been a whole lot worse.
That would have been, a second turnover would not have been a good idea.
Second down, about 20.
Gabor looking deep down the left sideline. He's got Douglas, and this one is going to go for a touchdown. No flags on the play here. Be a 65-yard touchdown strike for the Centaurs.
Yeah, that was a big play. What Coach Flores told us before the game, that one of the things they wanted to try to control was the big play, and that was certainly a big one right there. And looked to me like the D-back just kind of didn't keep running on the play. He had every bit of the speed that the receiver had that we saw from Douglas, but Douglas was just able to stay with it and run under the ball, and once he caught the ball, it was all done.
They go to Johnson trying to go for two, but it does not work out as he is wrapped up and brought down. As Prish will make the stop, and a 19-6 lead now for Brooklyn Center.
Here we'll see Gabor siding it, getting the ball downfield, and here he gets the ball out in real good order to Douglas, who just runs under it. And that was really well placed.
So Brooklyn Center able to score here early in the second quarter. About a half-minute in to stretch their lead to 19-6. Dawson will kick off here for BC. Dawson awaiting the go-ahead here to kick this one off. We've seen some interesting kickoffs for both teams, going a lot of short kicks. See what they have in mind this time, and driving at a fairly conventional kick taken by Davis at about the 19. Davis trying to pick his way through there and got a pretty good return out over the 40 to about the 42.
It was a nice return. Davis had found the seam and got into it in pretty good order and was able to get the ball in good field position. Both teams have had good starting field position most of the evening this evening. So
last time around they had King receiving snap and throwing the ball. It looks like Lara is back in for Humboldt.
And Coach Flores did tell us that their best overall athlete and best football player is certainly King.
Takes the pitch here and looking to get to the corner. A little stiff arm, and the flag is down. This might possibly be a face mask on the offensive player, perhaps.
You don't see that called very often. He usually has the...
Or at least hands to the face kind of thing.
Yeah, and that usually is not called. That's not considered usually a bad play, but it looks like you're going to be calling that against Humboldt.
Centaurs clapping as it appears it definitely is going to be against the Hawks, and it is a face mask against the offensive player, King, the running back.
You see that play, that penalty get called about once every 10 years.
Let's take a look here, though.
He didn't grab it. Yeah, he didn't grab it.
He certainly pushed it. Got his hand under there and pushed it under. And if it's a penalty on the defense, it should be a penalty on the offense too. It just, even though, like you said, it isn't always called that way.
No. And usually the ball carrier is given the benefit of the doubt on that.
So back to the 34. Be first and long here. They go with the little toss out to Lugo, and he is met and wrapped up. Centaurs trying to rip that ball free. Lugo hurt his ankle a few moments ago, and he's not, not the fleetest guy even to start with, and there was just no chance for that one to go anywhere. They're going to lose, close to 5 yards on that play.
4 or 5 yards, yep. Yeah, Lugo's a 5'11", 220-pound sophomore.
So back inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line here on this third down play. Need about 23 yards for the first down here. And again, they have not thrown the ball all that effectively tonight. Really only one completion in the early going. And it is King spinning back, looking, and he is dropped. Oh my, big loss there as Kai comes up to bring him down. And they will lose 15 more yards on the play. Going backward here are the Hawks.
Well, you see King gets boxed in, and once you start running backwards, it's all over. There's nothing you can do.
Frustrating feeling, I'm sure, for him when you look up and there's nothing there ahead of you and nowhere to go with it, really.
Yeah, before you even take a step, you got purple jerseys all over you.
3rd and a mile here for the Hawks. They dumped that little pass over the middle again, and it is incomplete as
King's pass falls incomplete. That'll make it 4th down
Mikiewicz Stately not able to handle that quick little flip, but they were fortunate that that ball, didn't stay up in the air a little higher there. It could have been intercepted.
Yeah, that ball popped right off of the hands or shoulder pads of the receiver, and the defender, playing the tip drill could have easily have had that.
King is in punt formation here. Wiley waiting back deep. King booting it, and Wiley drops it, but still has plenty of room, and then he falls down. He was going to spin back the other way. And they'll still end up with the football and still have great field position. Wiley was really eager to make a play there. And even after he dropped it, he had tons of room, but then he just fell down.
And time, yep. You see a pretty good kick by King, and you got to catch the ball up around your eyes, and that wet blade of grass just flummoxed him there.
So they'll have it at the Humboldt 43. Brooklyn Center threatening to blow this one open. We're still early in the second quarter, nearly an hour in. I think this is going to be one of those long ones. Kai coming in motion. He'll take the handoff. And he bounces off a couple of tacklers. Kai keeps his feet. Humboldt unable to get him down. Now finally he's brought down. There is a flag down on the play, though. Shockingly enough, we've had one at probably every other play here, haven't we?
Yeah, it seems like it. And that's going to be the 8th or 9th on BC with well more than half of the quarter to go.
It is a holding call against the Centaurs, their 9th penalty. And kind of unfortunate for Kai because he made a pretty nice run here, all told here. See the getaway there. Not sure where that flag came in. But yeah. It was down a little bit into the secondary on that one. I don't think the initial flag, way out on the flank, I don't think that's what they called.
No.
Ollie was out there and kind of, got his hands out and pushed his guy, but he did not hold. And I don't think that was the one that was ultimately flagged. But they'll be pushed back into their own territory here at the 47 now. Brooklyn Center leading at 19-6. And they're going to take a timeout. Brooklyn Center was struggling to get the play called, I think, on time and in the order they wanted to. So they will use a timeout here and make sure they get on the same page. Tough to believe, Bill, but next Wednesday, already the end of the regular season here in high school football. It goes quick.
Yeah. It seems like yesterday we started.
The way I look at it, though, is that's a good thing. If it feels like it went fast, it probably means we're having some fun and seeing some good football games, too. Absolutely,
we have. And, it looks like in several of the divisions overall, we're getting some pretty nice setups for the playoffs.
We've got football coming up on Wednesday evening over at Wayzata, Maple Grove, Wayzata. Kind of an interesting tie-in there a couple ways. Obviously, Matt Lombardi, the Maple Grove head coach, used to coach at Wayzata as their defensive coordinator and then as their assistant head coach. And Lambert Brown, the new head coach at Wayzata, was the athletic director at Maple Grove prior to last year. And so he's, they got ties both ways there. So first and long now for Brooklyn Center. Gabor handing it off on the sweep. Wiley spins out of the first tackle, gets away from another. Ooh, and then a big-time collision, and a flag is down at the tail end of this one as they'll spot it on the 46 of Humboldt. And be interesting to see this. This might be on the ball carrier.
Yeah, I'm baffled as to why.
And Coach Licciardi debating the point here.
I think he's got an argument. It's a contact game. People say it's a contact game. It's not. It's a collision game. And you can't take collisions out of the game.
Personal foul on the, it appeared to be on the ball carrier for.
Oh, maybe read that one there.
That's not what they called it, I don't think. He shrugs off that tackler and then comes and I
he
guess
didn't hit anybody in the head, and he didn't raise an arm into the guy's face mask. So.
I think what they're calling though, Bill, is that he did kind of lower his head and try to use it as a battering ram there.
Maybe
a little bit.
that might.
You're
be
right.
it.
10 years ago, zero chance that's a penalty, but in today's football, it often might be. And like I said earlier, if you know, same way what I said on the stiff arm by King, if the defense can be called for that, you have to respect that and say that the offense can be too. Throw out in the flat to Kai. He breaks the first tackle, but then they hold on tight down low. A nice stop there by Matt Benke. So that one only ends up back at about the line of scrimmage.
Now we're going to be 2nd and 26.
Three receivers out here to the left. They'll swing it out in the flat and incomplete as Sam Fain didn't look real smooth in trying to receive that ball. Almost like he didn't see it real well or something.
Yeah, the receiver's got to help the quarterback out on that. You just can't run out into the flat. You've got to get a little bit of a bow back into the backfield so you can get your shoulders and your eyes around and give the quarterback a target to throw at. Otherwise, the angle just doesn't work very well. And it's very tough for the quarterback to get the ball in to a guy that doesn't give him an angle to throw at.
Gabor, plenty of time downfield for Wiley, and did he hang on? Yes, he did. Took a hit, but he'll be down to the 24-yard line.
And once again,
about a 35-yard gainer here, and he definitely bobbles this ball right there. I'm surprised that he
dropped it. That one was dropped to the floor. Back judge missed that one big time.
See, that's what I thought I saw initially, but I thought, okay, maybe he had it long enough, but they got a break there, and now they'll capitalize as Douglas catching it for the touchdown, and Brooklyn Center striking again. So they definitely got a break on the previous catch.
My goodness.
And Douglas will have a 23-yard touchdown reception here.
You know, that's one where the coach is going to be asking the officiating people, how does a guy miss a play like that? That ball hit the floor and bounced back. I realize it hit the floor and bounced right back up to the receiver, but the back judge he's got to have his eyes on that ball every second of the way. And he took his eyes off of it. And just like a receiver, you take the eyes off the ball and things happen weird.
Credit BC,
that's an unforgivable sin. Yeah, they acted like it was a big-time play, and that's an unforgivable sin for that back judge. I hate to be on those guys very much, but not enough not to say anything about that.
Handoff on the 2-point try, and no good as Wiley took the handoff, so the run fails. Brooklyn Center converted their first PAT, but then have not been able to do so since. However, they still lead at 25-6. 6:59 to go here in the second quarter.
And once again, a receiver is all by himself with nobody even in the same county. As Douglas gets his second touchdown catch. And we were told the coaches felt like Douglas and Charles Wiley would give them and Kai also would give them three guys that they could get the ball to, and that if Gabor could get the ball to him, they would do pretty well. Well, that's exactly what has happened so far.
Dawson trying to get that ball just how he wants it on the tee here as he gets set to boot it away for BC. And a bouncer to Davis. He has a little trouble handling it. And then Davis will be wrapped up and brought down as Kai getting down there first and then had some help arriving. Those kicks are tough to handle sometimes, and Humboldt now is, things have really started to not go their way. This is even the bounces like that.
Yeah, the things are not happening the way they would like them to, obviously. And
and obviously for the Centaurs now, they can afford to be pretty aggressive defensively.
They can just lay their ears back and go now. They don't have to worry about much of anything.
Lara handing it off to the outside, and no go on that one. As coming up to make the stop for BC was Nathan Houghton on the handoff to Urbina. And they will lose a good 6 or so on that play.
Yeah,
there is a penalty, though, as well.
Yeah, you see Houghton does a good job of just wrapping up and
see what our call is here. Personal foul against Brooklyn Center. Wow.
Personal foul on Centaur. Brings the ball up just short of the 30-yard line. Second down and 1 for the Hawks.
Nice to be a fly on the wall right now.
Yeah.
Coach Licciardi is probably saying, why don't we just start the play with the flag on the field, because we know you're going to throw one every play anyway. And
that's what it seemed like. That's their 10th or 11th penalty.
But the referee at the same time is probably saying, also stop committing penalties. Sounds like a little taunting, although he called it personal foul too. So
right.
Handoff going up the middle to King there, and a short pickup, but it'll be enough for a first down. Their first one in quite some time. So just out over the 30. And first down for the Hawks, a much needed first down, obviously, for them as they try and, kind of battle back in this one, or at least stabilize a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They just need to settle down and move the ball, not get quite so many penalties.
Lara handing off. King will lose a little bit there.
It's very hard on running back when the offensive lineman make one step and then turn around and look to see what the running back's doing, and watching 5 guys with purple shirts.
Yeah, they're not getting much of a push or no push.
They are not. There's not much contact going on the line of scrimmage there.
2nd and 11 coming up here for Humboldt. Rolling right, some pressure coming, throws on the run, completes it to Davis. First tackler misses, and then Davis wrapped up and dragged down at about the 39-yard line. Will not have enough for the first down, but he's within a couple yards.
That'll bring up 3rd down at about 2.
Get a look,
nice
Johnson
catch,
just overruns him and then dragged down there at the end. And some little talking back and forth there at the end, as well as Clarence Douglas made the stop for Brooklyn Center. 3rd and a couple here for Humboldt.
I'm not sure why guys on both teams feel like they need to talk back and forth to each other after the play is over, but
Lara dumping it over the middle and incomplete. Receiver Davis had not turned around yet. He was kind of caught up in the traffic there.
Yep.
And 4th and 2 coming.
And that quick pass, it was there early in the game, and it was completed one time, and they've really struggled to even get it off now the last 2 or 3 times they've thrown it. You can't go to that pass route too often. It's just not going to be there.
Lining up as if to go for it, this could be a situation where they're just looking to draw the Centaurs offside. We're going to have a timeout requested here by Humboldt, it looks like. Interesting to see if they would really go for it. If you were out another 10 yards, I don't think it'd be, too much of a question.
But you're still in your own zone.
Yeah.
You're at your own 38-yard line. Not sure you want to give. You got a decent punter. Why would you want to give Brooklyn Center, an opportunity to have good field position and put up another one on you?
Keep in mind, of course, King is their punter as well, so
right.
They can give it a look like they're going to go for it and have him kick the ball still would be certainly an option as well. Fourth and 2, the handoff. They go to Lugo, and he keeps on driving, and he is going to get the first down. Boy, initially it really didn't look like he was going to make it.
No.
But he just kept the legs driving, and it almost looked like the Centaurs were trying to rip the football out, which is, not a bad thing, except for you got to make sure you've got him
stop
up
him first. Yeah. You don't want to give him 4th and 2, give him 5 yards.
So the Hawks, maybe a little bit of a gamble there, although I guess you could at the same time say maybe what do you have to lose?
What do you got to lose? Yeah. When you're 1 and 5 and you're way behind, there aren't a whole lot of gambles left at this point.
So they're 44 now, 1st and 10. And we had a little flinch on the right side of the Humboldt line, it looked like. And so they will be penalized there. Haven't been as guilty of drawing flags here tonight, but this one will be their 5th. 5-yard mark off on the false start. So 1st down and 15 now for St. Paul Humboldt, trailing at 25-6. All right, trying to direct traffic and get Davis where he needs to be. They're in danger, running out of time here. They do get it off. Uh-oh. King now in trouble. They didn't know what was happening on that one. Brandon Johnson surges in and knocks him down. Davis wasn't sure where he was supposed to be. Then it looked like he thought the pitch was going to come to him, and that one didn't look good from the get-go.
No, that was flummoxed right from the beginning.
So back to the 30-yard line now. They need to get a first down. They need to get to the Centaurs 47, so about 23 yards needed. Toss it back to King. Gets to the outside. They couldn't quite wrap him up initially, and now a big pile up around the 30-yard line as knifing through there was Houghton, and he got good penetration. He couldn't quite bring King down, but he obviously was a lot of purple jerseys coming behind him as well. So King, a lot of effort for a short gainer there. He has not had a whole lot of help out there tonight. He's obviously a good player.
Stop your feet, make some noise.
whatever level of football, whatever kind of offense you run, if you're not able to get, any really good protection up front, it's going to be tough. They go middle screen here to King. King to the outside, shook off one tackle, and then Clarence Douglas riding him down hard from behind at the 42. So he'll be short of the first down. They went for it a moment ago.
But they've got 11, 12 yards to go.
Yeah, I think this is a much different situation here. BC using a timeout here with they're looking to get that ball back. 1:35 to go here in this first half. See, Coach Flores, talking with him a little bit earlier today, he said, we can't fault the effort. We got some guys who are worked hard and they show up and do the right things, but it's been a struggle. There's no doubt, and he's not alone in that. Obviously, there are a lot of teams that you're just trying to build and get little by little.
Yeah, and it gets to be a tired cliche in some ways, but you want to try to build a culture of responsibility, that you take the responsibility to show up every day, you take the responsibility to work every day, take the responsibility to learn something every day, and that takes a while to get in. That's got to be done on a 12-month-a-year basis with the players. It doesn't happen just on the practice field, just on the game field. And when you're trying to rebuild a program that was knocked down as much as Humboldt was the last couple years, it's really a challenge.
King right now not in what would appear to be punting formation. He rolls out to the left, and he's going to throw it, and it is intercepted. Douglas on the interception. Douglas running hard into a tackler there, but he will bring it back to about the 40. So the turnover, and Douglas with the pick for the Centaurs. Kind of an unusual
King sprinting to the left, and he just doesn't get enough air on the ball to get it downfield.
Well, it really looked like, in looking at it again, like he thought or hoped that Douglas was going to, kind of a comeback route a little bit. And so the Centaurs, one timeout to go, and they have it on the Humboldt 40. They lead 25-6, and they'd like to put one more up here before
they would.
They've certainly got the opportunity. Gabor throwing to Kai. A little wide receiver screen there, and then a flag down on the play at the end. They got about 4, maybe 5 yards, but penalty on the Centaurs.
I don't know if this is a unusual or usual number of penalties for Brooklyn Center, but they're certainly working on filling up the book with penalties tonight.
There you go, block
in the back
there against the Centaurs.
They get a major here, so it's still going to be first down. First and about 25.
Gabor looking over the middle and incomplete for Wiley. Wiley was coming open, but he unable to connect on the timing.
Exactly, and again, I've been saying it the entire half, is that the two safeties are playing way wide, and they're inviting BC to throw the ball right up the middle of the field, which they've done fairly well with.
So Rayshon Douglas getting some attention from the trainer there. And a second down and long here for BC. Gabor Throwing deep down the left sideline for Kai, and it is incomplete. That time Davis got over in good position to help out. Boy, it's interesting watching. Humboldt doesn't even act like they're attempting to rush really here. I mean, they're not getting upfield much. In the middle they were, but a lot of time for Gabor, and that time good coverage by Davis.
He played that one pretty well and made sure that the receiver had no chance to get it.
So third down for Davia Gabor and the Centaurs. Looked like it slipped out of his hands and then throws it up the middle. This might be an intentional grounding. I don't think he had an eligible receiver in the vicinity, but they're like
all
it's just
50s, 60s, and 70 numbers in there.
Looks like it's just going to be, oh no, now we did have a flag come
way
out.
on an ineligible downfield, but
Humboldt's going to decline it.
Yeah. Make it a fourth down probably.
It looked like the ball slipped. Gabor was about to throw it on the flat, or at least fake hard to the flat. And
exactly,
the ball almost escaped his grasp there. So Wiley will be the punter. King waiting back deep for Humboldt. High floating snap. Wiley, a left-footed punter, gets it away, and King is going to have to now get away from it. And it will be down inside the 10 at about the 8.
Rolls dead at the 7-yard line, where the Hawks will take over first and 10.
So about a 46-yard punt with roll included there for Wiley. Not too bad.
No, not bad.
So 36 seconds to go for Humboldt here before halftime. And they're at about their own 8-yard line here. Boy, something very safe would be in order, I think, right now.
One would think you run one play and call it a half.
Lara will turn and give it to King, and brought down after a minimal gain there as Centaurs playing that one well up front. Does not look like they're going to use a timeout here. And that should bring us to halftime, I believe, here. The Hawks coming up to the line, but they do not have to run another snap here. And yet they do. King taking the handoff and take some more punishment as Kai and Holly come up and pound him there. And so now we do reach halftime here with a 25-6 lead for Brooklyn Center. Pretty dominant second quarter, really, there, Bill, for the
Exactly.
Centaurs.
Yeah, they looked less than sterling in the opening possession of the game, and Humboldt really moved the ball downfield nicely and did what they had to do. And ever since then, it's been Centaurs all the way.
Obviously, penalties being their one sizable concern in that first half. So
yeah, what did they have? 12 or 13 penalties in the first half.
Yeah, I have them unofficially for 12 accepted penalties.
And there was one declined.
Look at some of the crowd on hand here coming out to watch Centaur football. I was asking a couple of the guys earlier if they were, getting some notice around school a little bit, and they said, people are starting to pick up on things a little bit.
Well, that's good.
So Humboldt making their way across here, and kind of a tough first half. It started out not terribly bad for them, but things didn't go as well as they went. Let's go down to Allie.
Thanks, Jay. Coach, your team breathed the first life into this game. It's been a different story since then. Right. But what are some things that you have liked out of your team?
We're being aggressive on defense right now. You know what I mean? We're blitzing a lot. We're just not getting in on the coverage. But the line's doing a great job of stopping the run. Other than that, we got to figure something out here on the passing game.
Yeah, I was going to ask what adjustments you need to make in the backfield because some of those wide receivers are getting pretty open.
Yeah, they're pretty fast, so we might have to adjust, move some faster kids out to the outside on the corner, and then we might have to play a little bit deeper. We have to switch up the coverage too.
You've said this team is an eager team. They don't give up. You'll see that fight in the second.
Oh, yes, of course. We'll have them pumped up, ready for the second half.
All right, thanks for your time, Coach.
Thanks.
Guys.
Thanks very much, and thanks to Coach Flores for taking the time to talk with us as it's homecoming night here at Brooklyn Center. You get a look right there, and the homecoming royalty being introduced, and along with their parents as well, it looks like, making the march down the track and in front of the grandstand here at Brooklyn Center.
Our first couple is Andrew Osseo and Jasmine McGee and their families. Our second couple, quarterback David Gore and Marlo Shanks.
Davia Gabor, the quarterback, is the next in line there as part of the royalty. So homecoming royalty here at Brooklyn Center. Congratulations to all involved, and good to see a lot of the fans on hand here, past and present Brooklyn Center students here. The Centaurs leading the Hawks from St. Paul Humboldt 25-6 at halftime here. We will come back with first half highlights and stats and more here at Brooklyn Center High School. You're watching high school football on CCX Sports.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Brooklyn Center band performing in the stands here at this one as the Centaurs leading at halftime 25-6 over Humboldt, as we'll check out some of the first half highlights in this one. A kind of an eventful first half in good ways and bad, penalties being the bad. Here's the first play from scrimmage, and Gabor really got that one getting away from him, intercepted by King of Humboldt, and then the Hawks able to convert as they had a tough run there by King, getting him a first down, and they ended up scoring on their first drive on this little toss back to King, and he just trots in as BC didn't seem to be ready for it. And so they actually took the 6-0 lead about halfway through the first quarter. Not a lot went right for them after that. Hand off here to Brandon Johnson. Watch this physical run as he runs right through a tackler there. Keeps the legs driving for the Centaurs as they had a couple of long runs on their second possession. And then it is Gabor looking up top, finding his receiver, Junior Kai, wide open. Centaurs did get the PAT to go, so they took a 7-6 lead about 2.5 minutes after that Humboldt touchdown. And they weren't done yet in the first quarter. Watch King taking the lateral, looking to throw downfield. He gets hit. The pass floats up in the air a little bit. Charles Wiley, the interception for Brooklyn Center. And then it is Gabor throwing out in the flat. Rayshawn Douglas a catch and advances it forward here. And then a near mix-up on the handoff there, but Johnson gets it and keeps his legs driving, just finally falling over Davis, who had slipped down. And the Centaurs able to finish here as Gabor shooting it over the middle. Nice catch by Wiley on a little bit of a high throw, and he hauls it in for a 24-yard touchdown late in that first quarter. The BC led 13-6 after one, and then it is Gabor coming the other way. Rayshawn Douglas, that one's good for 65 yards. If you had to pick the one biggest play of the night, there've been several big, but that was probably it right there. And then it is a handoff here going to Wiley. He gets a penalty at the end for lowering his helmet into the tackler there. Yep. Kind of a tough one in a way, but I know they're definitely trying to get the head hits out of there.
Exactly.
And then it's Gabor coming back to Douglas, wide open there on the hash mark, right at the goal line, able to catch it. Humboldt obviously needing to shore things up a little bit defensively in their secondary in this second half. As you look at the stats, not a lot of running attack for the Hawks. They've tried, but so the -1 total yards to 223 kind of tells the story. Very weird looking first down situation, right, because they got a few on penalties too. And the Hawks have turned it over a couple times. So Brooklyn Center, the one big negative for them, 12 penalties for 130 yards. Well, again, we've reshuffled the districts and sub-districts a little bit this year. So some new teams playing each other a little bit, Bill. And you got to look at the Twin City Blue, which both of these teams are a part of. And Spectrum so far has been a class of that. They took it to BC pretty good. Centaurs and Concordia both at 4-1. They did beat Concordia here on this field, and so those are the three that have had the best of things up to this point. You see Humboldt has the one victory, which was over Roosevelt, but kind of some new opponents and some new mix of teams playing each other, and I think it's been kind of fun overall.
Exactly, and I think the organization of the schools in the different districts now. You're playing against a team that's you're going to be competitive with pretty much every week, and I think that makes the game a lot better, and it makes the seasons a lot stronger than when you have a couple of good teams and a couple of bad teams, and you have schools from three different classes playing in the same league. Well, now you've got everybody pretty much in the same class in the same districts, and there's a lot more continuity to the game now, I think. I think this has been a really good change for high school football here in the state of Minnesota.
Well, we'll see what the second half holds here. In some ways, it feels like Brooklyn Center is ahead more than they are. It's still a game at 25-6. Centaurs really dominated after the early going, and we'll see if that continues or if the Hawks will bounce back here in half number 2. Beautiful night here at James Norwood Field. Temperature cooling off, but we'll have our second half coming up for you in just a moment.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back here to Brooklyn Center. The Centaurs leading at 25-6. Let's go back down to the field with Ellie.
Coach, that is pretty much an impressive first half by your team, holding the opponents to just -1 total yards. I mean, talk about your defensive effort in that first half.
Well, first drive was a little rough. We had some miscues, and we just started to settle down. Really challenged the defensive line to hold their lanes and hold their gaps, and they've met the challenge.
Talk about that success deep back in the field as well. I mean, every throw that's put out there is pretty much ending out to be a touchdown pass.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to have some speed on the edge. We recognize that. We got a lot of things to clean up still. You know, some miscues here or there on offense. There's been a lot of flags, so we're really challenging the kids to clean that up, and we just had execute.
You said before the game you wanted this to be a memorable one for the guys. You think it's shaping up to be that way?
We hope so. We talked about the seniors. Soak it in. It's homecoming. It might be your last, and just enjoy the time with your brothers.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allie, and thanks to Coach Licciardi there too, and obviously touched on the flags being the one big negative for them in that first half, and something that they, you know, you want to be dialed in and fired up for a game, but at the same time you got to make sure you're not committing penalties, and some of those were the talking after the play kind of things, and that's something you obviously do have control over.
Yeah, the unsportsmanlike, a couple of personal fouls. You know, there were a couple of unsportsmanlikes that were called personal fouls. So, yeah, the John with players after the play, extracurricular pushing and shoving, that kind of stuff, that's just not necessary, and it just wastes time and energy, and just not a good thing with the game at all.
Brooklyn Center will be kicking off to begin the second half, so Humboldt will get the football first. And, you know, more and more as the half went on, they really struggled to do anything offensively. So it'll be interesting to see as they come out, you know, if they're able to put a little bit of a drive. As Coach Licciardi said, the first drive of the game for Humboldt was a pretty good one. After they had that interception, they went down the field. But
they went right
after
down the
that,
field,
it wasn't much.
Yeah. And they had like about a 10-play drive after the interception to get the ball downfield and make the score. So they really did things pretty well in that first drive. Offensively, they've really struggled since then. And when your offense struggles and doesn't control the field position and doesn't control the clock, it puts an awful lot of pressure on your defense. And a couple of quick scores. There really was only one really quick score. There's that one 64-yarder on a first down after a turnover.
So Dawson getting set to kick it away here for Brooklyn Center.
I think we'll see the ball going a little bit deeper this time. Watching the halftime warm-up, the kicker for BC was really working. He started to kick the ball pretty well there as he was warming up, and you may see the ball go deeper this time.
Yeah, he had of the later kickoffs, he did put a couple fairly deep, not like to the end zone deep, but just deeper down the field. Of
course.
He's
there we go, right there.
And fielded nicely there by Humboldt's Matt Benke, showing some pretty good hands. When you know you're about to get hit and you still hang on, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that was a really nice catch, because that thing can be really terrible if it's not handled well.
So they will get it at the 47-yard line here for the Hawks.
One of the things we hadn't really talked about with this Humboldt team is that they have one senior on the team. And several kids that are playing doing a lot of playing are sophomores, and there's at least one freshman as well.
And the first down handoff will go right side to Karan Kiles, and he is cartwheeled down. And will be a loss of a couple, it looks like, for Humboldt. So trying something a little bit different there to start the half. I mean, obviously you can't give King the ball on every play.
No. And that was a pretty good counter. And Kyle's just got his legs taken out from under him. Pretty good tackle by the Centaur defender.
So 2nd and 12 now for Humboldt. You see, they like to try and chew the clock. You know, play a little bit slow. They you know, full huddle on everything, but you know, when they haven't been able to block as well as they'd like, that doesn't help. And there's Johnson with the tackle, is carried again by Kiles. And they will lose a little bit again here on that play. So 3rd down and long.
Well, again, another play where Johnson does a really nice job of running that thing down. It looked like it was going to have an opportunity to go pretty good. And Johnson just runs Kiles down from behind and makes the play.
Blitz coming. Lara is hit as he tried to throw it. It'll be ruled an incomplete pass. He had a little bit of time, but then it gave way, and he was hit just as he tried to throw that football.
Yeah,
so 4th down.
We had an extra guy coming up the middle, Johnson right there, and
Kai got to him.
Junior Kai gets out there and is able to make the play. Once again, it's endemic of what has been going on with Humboldt since the opening drive of the game.
King the punt, fielded by Wiley at the 28. Now cutting it back cross field. He's got some good speed. And here comes Wiley to the sideline. King will finally force him out. And he brings it back to the 32, 33 yard line. So great field position for BC. We got a little look there again at the speed of Brooklyn Center's Wiley.
Yeah, Charles Wiley really, he sees it right when he catches the ball. He says, I'm going to the other side of the field because there ain't anybody over there. Not very many people on that side of the ball can catch him.
Come get you some. Come get you some.
So Brooklyn Center football, good field position again as they've had most of the night. Handoff goes to Johnson. Worked his way through the first tackle attempt, and he'll pick up about 3, maybe 4 on the play as he falls forward. Well, they really haven't run the ball much.
No.
You know, they've thrown it effectively, and they've, you know, had some other things happen where they haven't needed to or been able to, but mostly have done their damage through the air. Gabor handles the high snap now, throwing, completing, and running backward there was Wiley. I don't think he realized what he had out front of him there. He kind of turned back toward the defenders. They'll still get enough for the first down, it looks like. Pickup of about 8 or so and a first down.
Yep. And once again, the ball goes right to that middle zone. Wiley almost doesn't make enough for the first down there. When he caught it, he was well past the line to gain and retreated 2 or 3 yards.
Johnson getting to the outside, beats the defender there, spins and is dragged down close to another first down here. Looks like he might have enough.
Yeah, he's got about 11, 12 yards on that gain.
Watch Johnson, good speed. He outflanks him here, and then watch the little spin right there. Didn't quite get all the way past King, but
King made a very nice one-on-one open field tackle there, but it was a very good spin move by Johnson.
Gabor will come back to Johnson, flag down on the play. This one, and the ball squirts free, recovered in the end zone. There's another flag down, It's not going to count as a touchdown, I don't believe, for the Centaurs here, as there were a couple of flags.
There's probably a hold back in the back at the line of scrimmage, just based on where that came from. Yep.
Yeah, you know, the second one may not have been a flag. They might have been the beanbag tossing where the ball was fumbled.
Yeah.
I thought it was another flag that came out, but
no, it was
in hindsight, I don't think it was.
It was a beanbag, I believe. Yeah.
But the holding penalty, of course, is accepted. So Brooklyn Center pushed back out over the 20 to about the 22. Handed off here to Tony Nanati for the Centaurs. And they will lose about 3 more.
Well, this drive started off looking pretty good, and with the penalty and now loss of yardage, they're going backwards pretty good.
Gabor looking down the middle of the field, throwing for Wiley and just missing.
Here we see Wiley getting right up the middle seam here. Boy, that's a nice ball. Gabor put a nice ball out there just past the outstretched arms of Charles Wiley, but that was a nicely executed play right there.
Very near miss here for the Centaurs. You see, this one appeared to be almost, you'd almost call it a catchable ball there.
Yeah.
I think, really,
especially for Wiley. He's made a couple of nice catches tonight.
So 3rd and long for the Centaurs. Gabor under pressure, hit from behind, and it's going to be incomplete as Lugo got to him and actually mostly hit the ball there.
Yeah.
And it just flutters to the turf. And up 4th down. Brooklyn Center fortunate it wasn't intercepted. Also fortunate Gabor didn't get an arm or shoulder injury a little bit there too. Boy, that could be tough.
called a fumble.
Yeah, it was close.
You know, I mean, I don't believe it was, but it was awfully close. As you said, Lugo really hit the ball as much as anything. The referee right on top of that, making the call. But now you got 4th and 22. Not a whole lot of good 22-yard plays.
Although they've certainly shown the ability to throw the ball downfield. And
exactly.
Gabor looking deep into the end zone, and that one's over everyone and incomplete. At that spot on the field, though, you might as well take that shot.
Might as well go for it. Yep. And if on 4th down, the defender is not real bright and intercepts the ball, it's better than a punt anyway.
Looking out there for Houghton, but well covered by Davis, and wasn't a lot there.
No, that was almost a throwaway there. But Humboldt survives a possession there, and here in the 3rd quarter, gets the ball back for the 2nd time.
Have it on the 25-yard line. Lara will turn and hand it off. And a pretty nice gainer there on the first play, as Wagner taking the handoff there for the Hawks. So Yvonne Wagner getting his first touch there, a freshman. They'll go back to Wagner here, and he fumbles. Lara will pick it up, but they will lose big on this play. So a little bit different look for Humboldt now. They're going with more of a wing T look.
Right.
And you see Wagner getting hit early on as Hawley got through there. And Lara did a good job just to get on it. So 3rd and long now for Humboldt after the decent first down play. Little flip pass again, batted up in the air. Is this intercepted? I believe it might be. Well, no. What are we calling it here, a reception? Pass was tipped and caught, so it is a completion, and because it was deflected, a lineman was able to catch this one. I thought at first the Centaur defender, not the original one, but this one here, I thought it was caught, but it was actually out wrestling the lineman.
Yeah, and the lineman becomes after the ball is tipped, the lineman can catch the ball.
Ikugate, here's King trying to punt, a rush on it, a high short boot. And coming up to take it is Wiley on the 49. Now weaves through traffic. And he'll be wrestled out of bounds, and a flag down at the end of that one, right around the 40. Personal foul against the Centaurs.
Well, they've had a lot of majors tonight.
Wow, I'll say.
It's really, really tough. They've had a lot of 10 and 15-yard penalties. It moves the ball back to where it was fielded before the run back.
Yeah, they'll have it at their 46. 1st down and 10. And off on the sweep goes to Kai, and just tripped up on the outside there. Nice job by Urbina getting a piece of him. Boy, that one looked like it was going to have a chance to go someplace. They had blockers out front. I don't want to say he made the wrong choice on the cut here, but Urbina guessed right or got to the right spot here to get underneath him.
And Urbina just got underneath Kai enough to take him down for a short gain of about 1 or 2.
Second and 8 now for Gabor on the BC offense. Gabor looking deep down the middle of the field, and he hits Kai. Kai grabbed by King as they try and take the ball away from him. He'll be down close to the 15-yard line. About a 36-yard gainer there for BC.
Here we'll take a look at, again, Gabor putting the ball right on the money to Kai in the middle of the field. And that's a nice ball. That's a really nice ball that Gabor fires. As King tries to slow Kai down a little bit and get him finally out of bounds, but a big play for the Centaurs.
And a false start against Brooklyn Center. You're gonna, at this pace, they're gonna go well over 200 yards of penalties tonight, Bill.
Yeah.
And I can't recall if I've ever seen that many.
No, that's this is approaching Armageddon status here.
So marching back 5 here, 1st and 15 now for Brooklyn Center. Gabor looking left and incomplete for Douglas, and the ball went off a foot. We do have another flag down on the play.
And that's in the area where holding usually happens.
Now we're going to have an illegal chop block.
All right.
Run the gamut here tonight.
Yeah, and the illegal chop block, that's a dangerous play. That's a block between two offensive players where one guy is engaged with the defender above the waist and a second guy makes a block below the waist. And that's a very dangerous play. So if that actually happens, that's a good call.
Firing it out, complete to Douglas. Douglas has had a big night. He tries to break through, and he does. Touchdown, Centaurs. 32-yard strike. Douglas continuing his big night, so they go back a little on the penalty, but it didn't seem to bother him, and Douglas
not at all.
Will score again.
And he breaks a couple of tackles after he catches the ball to get the ball upfield into the end zone for his third touchdown tonight.
Third in a row, in fact.
There you go. That puts the ball.
Looks like he's holding a hamstring a little bit here after this run.
He does a good job of getting the ball out in the flat. There's no corner there. The safety can't make the play, and he gets off up the sideline into the end zone. And you see he's feeling that hamstring a little bit.
Gabor looking to the bench here. They're going to run out of time to get this play off, it looks like. Well, not yet, but we'll see. 2-point conversion try here for Brooklyn Center. And they do get it off. Gabor throwing, and it is picked off, and that is just a dead ball at that point. So Brooklyn Center once again able to score the touchdown. They don't get the conversion, but they lead at 31-6 here with 4:27 to go in the third. And you see Rayshawn Douglas trying to work on that hamstring area there. Another look at the touchdown here. This was a good play from the start, although Humboldt, I'm sure, thinking we can tackle a little better than this maybe, and they just not able to get it done.
King was just out of position. But the guy that was really out of position was the corner, who wasn't even close to that play. Coach Flores mentioned that they'd had a couple of breakdowns when they've broken down defensively, they've broken down badly. They've got guys that not even close to being in position, so it's very tough. BC's got a 31-6 lead now with a command of the game here.
The only bad news on that play is we saw Rayshawn Douglas coming up, really holding that hamstring area, and not sure what we're waiting on here tonight. I mean, obviously we've had a lot of penalties, but it's just been extremely slowly officiated too. Get going. Why are we not playing football? We're looking at the clock, it sounds like right now. We did have a clock run off, so sorry, this time official not at fault.
No, he said clock moving when it shouldn't have.
So Dawson will kick it away here for the Centaurs. King will field it on the 16 and slips there and is met as well on the stop by Roland Russ. So Humboldt getting the football back here, trailing it now 31-6. hard to say for them, you know, what was something that they could go to right now that, you know, could kind of get them established. It just haven't found much. No, because they haven't blocked well too.
Yeah, and Brooklyn Center is sending 7-8 guys at the line of scrimmage every time, and that really makes it tough for an offensive line to do much.
Here's a little bit of a gainer as they went with the counter play there, and Urbina got bounced around a little bit, but got a decent start to that drive there with the actually just about a 3-yard pickup for Urbina. Looked like it was going to go a little more at first.
Yeah, he took a pretty good shot and then taken down by Holly.
Yeah, nice tackle
Holly's
there.
Holly's had a pretty good game tonight
yeah,
defensively.
He's been mentioned a lot. He's a nice form tackle there. Just got in hard and low and brought him down. King under center here. Oops, and we get movement. Oh, they're calling.
Yeah, there's somebody on the defense encroached.
Well, there was definitely movement in the backfield too, but maybe it came after.
After the.
So make it 2nd and a long 2 now for the Hawks. King faking the handoff, rolling right, now throwing it short, up in the air, and a jump ball, Davis and Wiley, and it'll fall incomplete. Bring up a 3rd down here as you get another look. King rolling it out to the right. Davis trying to come back for it there, and actually kind of missed time to jump a little bit.
Came back to a point where he couldn't catch it. If he'd have kept moving, he would have been able to make the play.
King rolling it to the right. He's going to run it here, and he will pick up the 1st down. And bouncing off a couple of players with it.
I imagine he's gotten a little bit frustrated tonight, and that run he's taking it out on a couple, and we got another flag.
Yeah, way after the play.
Way after the play. It's going to be a dead ball. Somebody talking to somebody else again.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, and you saw again. It was for the talking.
Yep.
Yeah, it comes way after the play. I mean, the play was definitely over.
But watch King level a couple of guys here. He levels Holly, who was a pretty good size linebacker. And the flag comes in really late.
So the 15-yarder helps it down to the 33 now of Brooklyn Center. King, a free rusher coming, and he goes down as Russ, and now we get a flag at the end of the play.
Again, somebody saying something, somebody doing something after the play is over. .21 that time.
They get the sack right there. And he's kind of flexed and went over him a little bit there.
Stood over the offensive player and flexed, and that's not going to cut it.
Timeout taken by Brooklyn Center. Coach Licciardi talking with the official a little bit here, and
I think I think the referee's got a good comment here. He's going to say, Coach, your guys won't shut up. They won't stop doing the things that they're not supposed to do. Every time they do it, I'm going to throw a flag on it. I don't care if we're here until breakfast tomorrow morning.
Centaurs have a pretty good opponent next week here, Monday against Como Park, and you know, shaping up as that could be a pretty good game, an important one, and then they get set for playoff time. They got a not an easy section. Spectrum's in their section, Annandale's in their section. Those are a couple teams that they've been looking at as the you know, the most. I don't know. It's hard to. I'm going back and forth on this a little bit. You say you got to learn and not take penalties, but at the same time, you have the feeling that they have it in for them right now a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
And I think Coach Licciardi is, you know, wanting to stand up for his players a little bit too. I don't know. It's hard to,
but he's also saying, you know, are you telling me that my guys are the only ones that are doing this?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure he reminded the referee that he said, you know, you've called some of these same things on their guys. You know, it's not just a one-way street here.
So second down here on the 29. King, play action, throwing it up. Oh, and Davis cannot get there. It'll fall incomplete. So bring up a third down here for St. Paul Humboldt. King working out of the shotgun this time. A little bit of pressure. Now he steps up, throws, and batted around and incomplete. He actually put a pretty good pass into Lugo's hands, but could not haul it in. And then it bounced around a couple times. A couple guys had shots at it.
Right. Yeah, Lugo looking at his hands and wonder how that ball went through there. That was a nice pass. You can see that King does a good job, gets it right on the money. And it goes right to the floor. So now we're 4th and 6.
King looking to dump it over the middle to Lugo, but they stack him up, and he will not have enough for the first down. And Brooklyn Center will take over on downs. Let's go down to Allie now on the sidelines.
Thanks, Jay. You know, I talked to Coach Licciardi before the game and asked him, what's one of the most surprising things that you've kind of learned about the team and everything in your first year as head coach here? And he said, you know what it is? The overwhelming support within the community and the alumni group within this school. He said this year they were able to raise $10,000 for this football team, which he said was absolutely incredible. And it's something that just gives him so much pride as a former alumni himself.
Thanks, Allie, and always nice to hear that. And I talked with him a little bit before the season about how, you know, yeah, you really enjoyed the other spots you coached too, but it kind of means a little extra when you're coaching the school that you played for, and he wanted to see them do well. Here's a flag down at the end of the play as Johnson takes the handoff. See what we have for a call here. A block in the back. 20th accepted penalty by my count here.
Well over 200 yards. Long day in the mine for the Centaurs tonight. So 1st and long now for BC.
Gabor under pressure, gets rid of it up the middle, and nobody home. That one bounces to the turf. By that point, everybody was deep downfield, and just a little check down that went to no one. But
check down to the invisible receiver.
Well, they were closing in fast. He was going to be sacked there if he didn't get rid of that. So 2nd and 15 now for Brooklyn Center, leading at 31-6 on their homecoming night. I don't know. This is a weird one, though. It's hard to be super excited when you have so many penalties.
Yeah, it's every time you go forward, you go backward, and it's taken the pace completely out of the game.
Handoff going to Johnson. They hem him in, and they're able to wrap him up. Nice job.
Good contain.
Yeah, exactly. You got one guy on his inside shoulder and one on his outside, and just make him try and beat you.
Right. Davis did a nice job of controlling the flank there, and there was very good pursuit that time from the inside.
So 3rd down and long. They need to get out to just beyond the 35-yard line. And they got about 20 yards to go here, or 19.
We've got 3 receivers on the left side and 2 defenders. Numbers are not in. Oh,
he's going to come the other way and throws it up for grabs for Wiley. He catches it, but is he inbounds? No, he's out of bounds.
Oh, nice catch. That's what they always like to see the receivers concentrate on the ball. Try to get your feet in bounds, but catch the ball first, and then try to stay in bounds.
If your feet come in and you don't continue the catch, then who cares at that point, right?
Exactly. I mean, again, the ball stays up in the air a little bit too long, gives the defender a chance to get down into it.
Yeah, but clearly out.
Yep. And Wiley wanted to sell it, but, I did catch the ball, but.
Wiley fielding the snap. Ooh, they almost got to that one. And no chance to field it, though, for King. And then Humboldt will have it on about the 44. That's one thing you can see. BC needs to work on that punt snap.
Exactly.
Had hang time, and that's not what you want.
No, you want to get that ball back there in good straight line, and don't leave your punter out there all by himself.
So Humboldt last time got the ball down inside the 30, but had the drive stall. They'll get the ball back in very nice field position here. Lara back in there at quarterback. Goes to Wagner on the counter. Wagner wrestled down hard there by Clarence Douglas. So Wagner, the young freshman, getting some playing time here in the second half and able to pick up about 6. One of the better plays really been quite a while for the Hawks.
Especially on that inside trap play like that. That was nicely executed.
Are stepping up, throwing deep downfield, flag down on the play as they battled. It was intended for Davis, incomplete, but I think this is going to be interference or at least a hold, on BC.
It's a hold.
And that one, I think, was kind of a no-doubter, it looked like.
Yeah, it looked like the defender got hold of Davis pretty early on and totally impeded his ability to get downfield. Yeah, he got a good handful of jersey, too.
So that'll give the Hawks a first down here. Down to the 29 of Brooklyn Center. Might be the last play of the quarter. Oh, the handoff And the defender almost took the hand out
Yeah.
there as a Roland Rust got there. That was a slow developing play for the Hawks, and the quarter is going to come to an end, mercifully so, as this turned into a marathon here. 31-6, Brooklyn Center after 3. We'll be back with the fourth.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
There you see our score through 3 quarters here. Brooklyn Center leading at 31-6. And I said earlier, Bill, it's, you know, even at halftime, it had the feel that they kind of could have or should have been ahead by more. I guess mainly it's the penalties that have holding them back.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's the penalties have kind of taken them mentally out of the game a little bit. Certainly there's an emotional factor with that. And probably even more important is there's just no rhythm. There's no sync to the game at all right now, and that's really a tough challenge for both teams. Both teams are out of sync with things. You'd much rather have things running smoothly, as it were.
Second and 15 now for the Hawks as we begin quarter number 4. Toss back to King, and he is met immediately and brought down, and they're going to throw the flag.
Russ on the tackle. Flag doesn't play.
Well, yes, they had him wrapped up, but my goodness, they both just fell to the ground. This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the penalty can be for. Not sure if they hit him in the head.
Oh, no, King is injured, too.
Yeah. But we'll see that Johnson hits the line of scrimmage and is not even slowed down. I'm not sure I see any kind of a penalty there. He was just tackled.
Well, the whistle blows at some point here, but you're wrestling hard. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's garbage.
And maybe he just got King got his foot bent backwards or.
Penalty is marked off against the Centaurs. Down to the 28-yard line of the Centaurs. That'll make it first down and 10.
If I was Coach Licciardi right now, I would let him have it at full blast. It's terrible.
It's gotten to the point where it's just not.
The bad part, obviously, too, is King is a little bit injured, and that's what they're, thinking is that you stop when the whistle goes. But I don't know. Two guys are fighting hard.
Yeah,
King is still going hard to try to get forward. The other guy's trying to drag him down.
Yeah, and King has been a very, very tough guy to tackle tonight. He's broken tackles on many of the runs that he's had, and at least he's getting up and walking off under his own power. Hopefully catch his breath, get a chance to get himself under control and then get back out.
Lara handing it off. Wagner is brought down. And the stop made there by Houghton. And my goodness, it does not appear there's a flag on this play. I'm shocked.
Well, you know, and now we're getting to a point where on every play, the BC linebackers are hitting the A and B seams, and they're hitting them on the run, and it's making it impossible for the Humboldt line to do much of anything. You know, and when you don't have to worry about anything behind you as a linebacker, you can just let it go, and every seam is filled with at least one body, and you got one more guy than there is somebody to block them, and it's going to be not good.
Timeout taken by Humboldt here. As they were, I don't know, they were not liking what they had going here in terms of alignment or play or. Give off to Wagner up the middle.
He gets a couple.
He gets 2-3 yards there.
Made a nice jump cut in the middle of the line of scrimmage there. Got a couple of yards.
So 3rd and long coming up for Humboldt. And we had a false start here against the Hawks. Here's a look at Lara throwing it, and it is complete to Davis, and Wiley able to drop him in his tracks.
But a nice throw and catch. Lara put that one right on the money. Davis makes a nice catch and gets a few yards out of it, making a nice 4th and 6 for the Hawks.
Well, Humboldt looking for a conversion here, and pressure coming, and it's batted down. As getting up at the right time there was Houghton.
Houghton, yep.
And we did have a flag down on the play here over on the near side. And it was against Humboldt, and it is declined, so the Centaurs will take over. There you see Houghton getting up to knock that one down.
Yep. Centaurs will take over here at about their own 26-yard line.
So here we go with the Centaurs, 1st and 10 on the 25. And it gets through Gabor's hands, and Kai's going to fall on it back at the 9. So
wisely,
they'll lose big. Yeah.
Kai done a nice job of not trying to pick the ball up and having something worse happen to it. Just get on the ball and you take your lump there, and you still get a chance to run 2 more plays here.
I agree with that. You know, the pace, it's been hard for them to get back into rhythm here too.
Yeah, there's no rhythm or pace to the game at all.
Throwing deep downfield, he's got a man, and Kai is going to go the distance. There's a flag down though. Let's see what the flag will be. It'll be a 91-yard touchdown if it stands.
Amazingly, there's a flag on the play.
So this one's coming back. Will not count. Ineligible receiver downfield against the Centaurs.
Here we see, once again, Junior Kai is going to be all alone in the middle of the field. There's no safety. In some places, that's just legal stealing right there.
Touchdown wiped out, though, by the flag there for interesting. Bill, I'm wondering if this might be leading with something with the formation, because we did not see any alignment, but was somebody made an ineligible receiver by the fact
alignment?
That
they were covered by somebody else. Yeah, somebody moved up on the line or didn't move back off the line like they were supposed to.
Yeah, because you could see there was nothing really unusual with the 5 interior linemen in terms of anybody firing out and getting downfield. I don't think that's what it was. I think it was with the receiver being covered up. Handoff goes to Brandon Johnson. Well, they had one big play wiped out. Let's get another one instead. Johnson almost stepped through that next tackle as well, and down at the 27. So amazingly enough, this is still nowhere near the first down after the snap that got away and then the penalty. And
30-yard run, and it's 3rd and 9.
Gabor looking deep down the middle again for Kai, and he has it, and he'll be brought down at the 39 of the Hawks. A 34-yard gainer there.
And again, I'm sounding like a broken record, but Humboldt is absolutely not defending the middle of the field. If you don't defend the middle of the field, you're going to get this kind of action all the time.
Throwing it up here for Kai again. This time it is intercepted. Matekovic Stately with the interception there for Humboldt.
Nice. It was a nice interception by Matekovic Stately. As you see, Gabor gets the ball up. I mean, he just steps back off his back foot a little bit, throwing off his back foot, and the ball drifts on him. Stately makes a nice grab, one-handed grab with that.
So the Hawks come up with the turnover. Lara under center here for St. Paul Humboldt. Counting to see if they've got 11 on the field, it looks like, unless this is some kind of ruse.
No, they're short one. They had 10 guys.
Toss out to Lugo, flag down on the play.
Lugo tackled there by Johnson for a loss on the play, but there is a flag on the play.
They were missing one guy, so they didn't have 7 on the line of scrimmage, so it's an illegal formation.
That'll be declined.
Second down.
Centaurs showing blitz here. Hand off to Wagner, and he slips and falls, and we'll lose some more.
Wagner slips down on the play. 10-yard line. Loss of 2 or 3 on the play. Third down and about 20.
So we tick down toward halfway through this fourth quarter of a game that's crawled along here tonight, to say the least. Lara runs into his blocker there and then is dumped hard back inside the 5.
So that's going to be 4th and extremely long from inside the 10-yard line.
Oh,
inside the 5-yard line.
I think we have a guy on each team who's shaken up. Lara is hurting. And there was a defender that got up a little bit slow as well. Centaurs enjoying this homecoming night. Unfortunately, Lara looks like his right leg they're looking at.
I didn't see what happened when he went down. He was running away from our position here in the press box. I didn't really see what happened. He might have gotten twisted as he was taken down. As you can see that Nicholas Lara is not the most massive guy in the world, 135-pound quarterback. And he's a little bit ginger on his right leg, maybe holding his hamstring. So now you're down to your 3rd quarterback on a team that had 1. And since King got hurt a few minutes ago,
it looks like Davis will be the punter
Davis
now.
is now the punter, and he's in not an enviable position right there, kicking from your own end zone.
And a little fumble-rooski it looked like they attempted there, and obviously it didn't work.
No,
and they'll be brought down at the 5-yard line. Brooklyn Center will get the
a lot
football.
of people there. What the heck was that? You didn't run a fake punt on your own 2-yard line.
So the Centaurs will take over the football. Hard to tell for sure what went on there, but it certainly looked like it was by design.
Yeah. Hard to believe that was by design, but I'm not sure a fake punt from inside your own 5-yard line is necessarily the
timeout taken here by Brooklyn Center, it appears. So Brooklyn Center will try and take advantage of getting the ball on downs here at the 5-yard line of Humboldt. Try to punch one in here. Hand off to Johnson up the middle, and he is close but not in. He'll get down to about the 1-yard line. And we'll bring up 2nd and goal here for Brooklyn Center. They're going to line up right over the ball here, no huddle, and try and punch it in. Wouldn't be a surprise to see them go right back to Brandon Johnson here.
Nope.
He will get it, and he will go in for the touchdown as Johnson able to finish the drive there, the long drive of 5 yards.
5 yard, yep.
So Johnson takes it in for the Centaurs.
The 5-yard, 2-play drive. Make it now 37-6.
Still, even if they make a 2-point conversion, wouldn't be enough to bring us to running time, which I think everybody in the whole stadium wants right now. There's a pass up, and it'll be complete to Wiley for the 2-point conversion. So they get just their 2nd conversion tonight, and first time converting on the 2-pointer.
Right. Anyway, just see Johnson doing a good job of just keeping his legs driving and getting into the end zone. Breaking a tackle at the line of scrimmage at the 1 and getting in.
Huh. We're not. It looks like they're going to running time.
Yeah, maybe the coaches from Humboldt just said, let's go with it.
And fielded and heading down. He wasn't going to take a hit there. Jamarian Selman there for Humboldt.
The freshman makes a smart play.
Selman on that reception.
Now you got Lugo playing quarterback.
Lugo will hand it off. Wagner is spun down there as reaching out and grabbing him was Fode Tour for the Centaurs, and a short loss. Lugo turns and pitches it back to Wagner, makes a nice move to the outside, and then tossed down by Cyrus Patterson-Lucas.
Patterson-Lucas. Pickup of about 5 on the play. 3rd down, 5.
So 3rd and about 5 coming up here, 6 for the Humboldt Hawks, trailing at 39-6. They actually led this game. They scored the first touchdown after they had an interception early on. And
so a nice come from behind win for the Centaurs.
Well, you could look at it that way. It was a long time ago, and they're going to go quarterback right up the middle, and Lugo running through a tackler. Looks like he'll have enough for the first down. That was kind of a element of surprise kind of thing there, and they pick it up.
Well, I'm sure that Lugo at this point in the season has probably not had a lot of snaps as the quarterback, and trying to run plays on the fly with somebody at the quarterback spot that hasn't played it at all. It's pretty tough.
Turns and gives to Wagner, and he falls forward for about 2, maybe 3 on that play.
Taken down there by Bretton Williams. 2nd down, 8 for the Hawks.
Lugo is going to run it again here.
Might as well. And we're down to 1 minute and 45. Couple more plays here. And Centaurs will end up with their 5th win of the season, going to 5-2. Be ready for Como Park next week.
Third and 3 coming up now for Humboldt. Lugo looking to throw it deep downfield, and Davis has it. Nice completion there as Davis went up in traffic to get it.
What a great catch. Oh my goodness, that was something. As ugly as this has been, that was a really nice play by Davis. He reached back over a defender to make the play, takes a hit, gets some yards. That was excellent. That was excellent. And there's no quit. I mean, the coach was right. These guys aren't quitting. Hasn't been a great game for Humboldt, but they are not laying down for anybody here.
Lugo stepping up. Now he's going to take off and running through a tackle, and Lugo is going to go. Touchdown Hawks.
Lugo in for the touchdown, Hawks.
So Lugo getting some excitement late here for Humboldt with that 27-yard run. Lugo is the holder. Newa will come on to try and boot this through. And the kick is high and short. No good.
Great effort.
So we stay at 39-12. As watch Lugo here. He had time. He's looking out, and at this point you thought he might still throw it, but then BC came up, and a couple guys didn't seem to want much of a part of him there, did they?
He used his agility to avoid tackles and get the touchdown.
I've done some soccer double headers and I'm like, hey, can you get us a soup? Well, we've ordered pizza up here. It's been pretty great.
Well, Humboldt went onside kick a couple times early on here, and any reason to doubt they might here?
No. Their 2 previous kicks have been onside kicks. They might as well. They got a new kicker now. Lugo is not kicking. They've got.
Looks like Talia Molinar will kick this time.
Yep. Let's see what Talia does here with the football.
Short kick and fielded cleanly by the Centaurs.
Recovered there at 45-yard line, number 44. First down, Centaurs.
Positive return for these things.
And we'll run one more play. Centaurs will have the ball 1st and 10. Jay, what do you call here? Do you call the deep pass down the middle, or?
Got a new group in there for BC, so.
Is he a quarterback or is he fullback?
Oh, that's Tommy Chang.
And a flag down on the play.
Really?
False start, Centaurs.
Illegal snap, I think it might be as much as anything. Yikes. I don't know what I mean, why are the Centaurs dawdling so much here too? Go ahead, snap it, take a knee,
snap the ball. You got to do is,
there we go.
That's all it is.
Again, you can watch tonight's game's highlights on Rep Sports Extra.
So Brooklyn Center scoring the victory here in a penalty fest. They win it by a final score of 39-12. So the Centaurs now up to 5-2 as they will get set to take on Como Park in the season finale. For Bill Hunstock, Allie Arlt, and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Brooklyn Center.